Hi, everybody. It's Lizzie, otherwise known as Shasta. I think one of these days I'll figure out what my actual name is. It's so funny coming back from a hike and having been called a certain name for months by people, and then now coming back and being called a different name, even though that's what I've been called for years. It's still different. Also, because my name is Shasta and I live in Mount Shasta, so it's a little bit cheesy to be called Shasta, but it's also funny because everyone said, I hear that name all day, every day because I live here. And even I was someplace where they have a Shasta scramble as one of the breakfast menu offerings, and everyone around me was ordering a Shasta scramble. It was pretty funny. I was like, wait, why do I keep hearing my name? I myself had that as well. I split it with a friend and it was really good. Anyway, the topic for today's video is how to come back from a thru hike and deal with the mental and emotional and physical repercussions that come crashing down. I met a woman at a one of the last Trail Magics, which was at Rainy Pass, which was PCT last call. Sweet. So if all y'all are out there who did put that on, like Animal and whoever else was there, please hit me up because I would love to be in touch with you. Find me on Facebook, LizzieLiz at Gmail, LIZZYLIZ at Gmail. Because that was awesome. You guys like really hooked it up. Like we had really good food and drinks, and oh my gosh, it was just amazing. I'm kind of glad it happened at Rainy Pass and not Hearts Pass because I don't know if I would have made it to the border. As it is, we only made it 10 miles past Rainy Pass that day anyway. But anyway, the emotional stuff that happens, the physical stuff that happens, like it's really intense. I was only out there for Oregon and Washington, and so I don't even know what it would have been like to have been out there for the entire trail. I'm doing the entire trail next year, so I guess I'll find out. But I know for me that it was really hard to come back because, for one, my brain is really affected by things like exercise and sunshine and fresh air. So the fact that I was all of a sudden inside, and not to mention that winter hit, like, hello, September 15th, temperatures drop like 15 degrees. It started snowing within a couple days in Washington. I came back to Shasta and it was like cold. When I left here, it was like hot. So it's very strange on the body. And what happens with our brains is that we're not exercising as much. We don't have as many endorphins. We don't have as many, happy chemicals being super boosted into our brains, either through extreme caffeine intake, which I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about with your quad shots and your Starbucks shooters, and a lot of caffeine intake happening on the trail, along with some other stuff. But so without all of that, our brains are kind of like, "Meow." And then without, the fresh air and the sunshine and maybe being inside, and then the stress of coming back and being, in a busy city where there's cars, we have to drive. We don't just get driven around like we're used to. We're not just walking everywhere. And also the activity, I was reminded that the activity of hiking, because this is what we do when we hike, is like a really good brain balancer because it's just constant back and forth movement, and it balances the right and the left brain, which is really healing and good. But then once we stop that, it's like everything comes to a screeching halt. And so what I realized is like my body did need a break because I was doing 25s pretty quickly. And so after doing 25 miles a day for the most part for 2 months, and then you stop, it's good to rest, but then it's like the body tightens up. My shoulders tightened up, my hips tightened up, my whole body just like tightened up. And plus then I ended up getting like really swollen feet and ankles, and had to do some massage on those and to keep, do a little bit of walking to help with that fluid retention. But it totally looked like, I had really fat feet because all the fluid just went there. So my whole body got kind of swollen. And I was like, the other day I was like, oh my God, I feel like I just got off this crazy exercise train and trail. And I just gained like all this weight, like WTF, right? Like, how is that possible? But what I realized, and in my other videos that I link below here, it had a lot to do with the diet that I was having, and that continued. That was an inflammatory diet. So watch those videos to understand what I'm talking about with that and like how to approach it from a nutritional food standpoint. But from an emotional and mental standpoint, it's really, really important to be really gentle with yourself and to know that it is a process. What I've heard, I know a lot of thru hikers who are either triple crowners or just in the PCT and extensive backpacking, in the years since or whatever. It's really important to stay plugged into the hiker community. It's like anything else. You need a support group of people who get it, people who understand, people who you can talk to and laugh about the trail for hours, because you all know, like when I'm talking to my friends about the trail, they might listen for a while, but they have no idea what the heck I'm talking about and they don't really get it. But when I get with a thru hiker and we're talking, you can just like chat about trail angels for like 3 days straight, or you can talk about, like the constellations in the sky, such as the summer triangle. Some of you know about that. And it's just so funny. Like it got to the point with my thru hiker friends that we could just like say one word to each other and just bust up laughing. And that was like enough for, an hour or something of just like joy and happiness happening in my brain. So what happens, like now that I'm back here, I'm back in Mount Shasta, there's not a lot of hikers here. I'm spending a lot of time by myself. I'm spending a lot of time indoors. Like, how do I keep myself from jumping off the top of Mount Shasta? It's a process, and I am a wellness coach, so I am trained in the process of keeping myself motivated and accountable. And so if any of you out there want support and want coaching work, I am available and definitely understand the ins and outs of extreme exercising, of thru hiking, of wanting to create change in your life, all of that stuff. So hit me up, Lizzy Liz, LIZZY LIZ @gmail.com. And we can talk. Find me on Facebook under that same email, Lizzy B Love. You might have to send me a message because unless you're a friend of a friend, you can't really add me yet. But send me a message on Facebook and I will write you back. But you have to be really present with yourself, really patient with yourself, and also do things that are calming. Like go on a half an hour walk. If you are exhausted and tired and don't have time for something else, meditate for 5 minutes a day. It doesn't take that long to meditate. All you have to do is set your timer, put on some chill music, but just sit and close your eyes for 5 minutes. There is research, a lot of research that shows that even just the act of sitting there and closing your eyes, even if your mind is going, even if you're not in like, some Satori state of like total clear-mindedness, there is a huge physical, mental, and emotional benefit from just sitting down and trying to meditate for 5 minutes. It's way better than not trying at all. Yoga. I totally love yoga. Yoga is my Prozac. Yoga has saved my life numerous times. I am somebody who has dealt with a lot of seasonal affective disorder. I've had a lot of mental, emotional reactions to certain foods or not. Like I'm just someone who's very sensitive to my environment and the foods that I eat. And so I've dealt with depression, anxiety, and a lot of stuff. And a lot of that is dealt with yoga and meditation and diet. So, and I feel a lot better and happier when I'm doing those things. So yoga it just has to be like, gentle yoga. There's a lot of free yoga classes out there. Just Google search free yoga in your area. There's a lot of free yoga videos, although I don't really suggest doing those unless you know the basics of yoga. So it's almost worth it to take a basics yoga class at a yoga studio, or ask your yoga friend to show you, and then do the videos once you know the yoga poses. So that way it's a lot more helpful. But really, like, connect into your community. There's a lot of Facebook pages for hikers, thru hikers. Stay in touch with the people you met on the trail. Like I Facebook message and text, and I'm going to Skype with a lot of my hiker friends, especially the GCs. Love y'all. I'm gonna talk to you and hopefully see some of you soon. Big hugs to everyone out there that I've met along the way. Love you guys so, so much. Everybody's amazing. And yeah, so just remember to be really gentle with yourself and to tell yourself what I've noticed is that every day things get better and better. And so even if one day I'm feeling really crappy and really sore and really tired, I know that in a few days I'll feel better. And part of that is that I consistently do things to get myself out there. Like I started with shorter walks and then I got into a longer hike and then finally I went running and then I went on a longer walk and then I, decreased my intake of alcohol and sugar and gluten and dairy and now I'm upping my intake of healthy foods. Now I'm getting more and more in touch with the people in my area and I'm applying to jobs that will get me out there and be a little more social. I'm making these videos, which is really helpful and good for my business and good for just like putting helpful information out there. And I'm getting back into my personal business with the nutrition product that I take and also for my coaching business and all that. So again, if you want to get in touch, if you want to, if you're in the area, we can hang out, or if you want to just chat, you want to connect with another hiker, you want to just see, have a conversation or talk about coaching or about the supplement that I take or whatever, find me on Facebook, LizzieLiz@gmail, or email me and we can meet up because, it's the trail provides and I am continuing to provide, the mountain provides, the world provides, spirit provides. So just trying to keep it positive and put some goodness out there for everybody. So little off the trail magic for everyone. And I hope you're doing well and let me know how your transition back to the real world is doing because I'd love to hear what you are doing to help yourself stay positive. And yeah, so until next time, keep on hiking.